So, hello vinyl community, Bill here, and I've been drawn into this infuriating Richard McCook state of your record, or states of your records. Must admit, when I saw the banner page, I thought it meant, were they mint condition or very good plus, or did you have a classic record with a scratch on the A side or something like that? But then when I watched the video, it's about states in the United States of America. So, and the names of the states mentioned on the song title or album title. So let's get started. So first one up is The Doors, and the song is the Alabama song, or Take Me to the Next Whiskey Bar. And yeah, I think it was also covered by David Bowie. So that's Alabama. Next one up I've got is Arkansas. And you won't be able to read this, but it is Big Bill Broonzy and Going Back to Arkansas. This is from Story of the Blues, and it's a Sunday Times music collection. This has got 4 CDs and a little booklet as well. And the Sunday Times in the 80s did a whole series of these, going from early Gregorian chant through opera and Mozart, Beethoven, and Shostakovich, etc., and right through to blues and disco, etc. So good job I've got this one so that I get Big Bill Broonzy, fabulous blues player, and Going Back to Arkansas. Next one up was California, and I've got this time Claire Teal and Orsino's songs. And on this one, you have California Dreaming. She does a beautiful rendition of the song that was made famous by the Mamas and the Papas. And I think Wes Montgomery, the jazz guitarist, did a really nice version of it too. Right, next up, I've got Delaware. And you can maybe see the very last track on this is Down on the Delaware. It's one of 5 CDs taken from this collection, which actually also mentions Maryland on it. But it had, it's in a cigar box, and you get a free opener for your bottle of beer, a nice booklet, and 5 CDs of different sort of jug bands and banjo playing, Appalachian music, etc. And these were all recorded in the 50s. The producer or the record company was Phonotone Records, and this guy here with the banjo and the jug is Joe Buzzard. And anybody that's seen some of my previous videos know that I'm a big fan of Joe Buzzard. He's a huge collector of 78s and believes that music died when rock and roll came along. So I don't agree with that, but he's certainly a great record collector. And if you look up on YouTube, there's some fantastic videos of him playing records down in his basement. Now, next one up, you can see the CD here says R. Crumb's Heroes of Blues, Jazz and Country. And that actually was a free CD with this book, fantastic book. with different illustrations of jug bands and early jazz and early blues. And he was also the designer of the Cheap Thrills, the Janis Joplin, the Big Brother and the Holding Company. But, and he was also responsible for the animated film Fritz the Cat, I think. So inside this book, you got a free CD, and you can see that we've got Jelly Roll Morton's Red Hot Peppers, and they're playing Kansas City Stomps. Kansas City Stomps. So that's Kansas. Or before that, I have got Georgia. And this is a great Ray Charles compilation. It's called the 25th Anniversary in Show Business Salute. And inside you can see Georgia on My Mind. Georgia on My Mind. It's a great double album, and he does great versions of Yesterday and Eleanor Rigby as well. But that's got nothing to do with the States in America. After Georgia, I've got Indiana. And it's by the Bud Powell Trio. And this is from a 4 CD set called Bebop Spoken Here. So yeah, some great stuff on a 4 CD set, Bebop Spoken Here. So next up, I've got Indiana. And it's by an artist called Montana Taylor. But this is from a boogie woogie anthology, piano music. And the track is called Indiana Avenue Stomp by Montana Taylor. Next up, I've got Kentucky and Blue Moon of Kentucky by the wonderful Elvis Presley. So after that, I've got Louisiana, which actually comes from a really good compilation of blues and alternative blues called Beyond Mississippi. So I could have included Mississippi as the state name, but we'll come back to Mississippi later. And on the first track on CD1, we have Otis Taylor and a song called My Soul's in Louisiana. And next one, this is where Richard McCook is probably going to disqualify this entry, but I'm hoping he gives me 4/5 of a point because I'm going for Exile on Main Street. So Maine, the state, is M-A-I-N-E, but 4 letters out of 5 for Maine as in Exile on Main Street. We'll come back to this one. Then I've got Maryland, and there's a Sidney Bechet track. The great jazz clarinetist. And there's a track called Maryland. Then Didn't have any Bee Gees. I thought, well, I've got a few Bee Gees tracks, but I don't have a Bee Gees LP, unless you include Saturday Night Fever. But yeah, I didn't have Massachusetts. So we'll miss out Massachusetts, but then we'll go for the Rolling Stones and 12 by 5 and a track called 2120 South Michigan Avenue. After Michigan, I've got Mississippi, and this is from a CD called Famous Country Music Makers, and the great yodeling Jimmy Rogers. And he's got a track on this called Miss the Mississippi and You. A great sort of tongue twister song, Miss the Mississippi and You. Then, well, I don't get any points for Montana, the one Montana Taylor that I showed earlier. Next one up is New York and the great grunge band and Nirvana Unplugged in New York. It's a fantastic album. The wonderful Man Who Sold the World on this. After New York, this is the one where, again, Richard's got to knock a few points, well, 1 point off me. So he probably won't count this one, which is Jack White. And the track in question is Carolina Drama. But I think the rules of Richard's competition was you had to have North Carolina or South Carolina, and just having Carolina just wouldn't do. So there we have it, Carolina or North Carolina, or you could count it for South Carolina. But let's see what we can get to next. Next one is from Neil Young and the Decade compilation, and the opening track on disc 2 is Ohio, which was the great protest song, I think, written in a day, highlighting the atrocity in Ohio of the students being shot at for protesting against the Vietnam War. The next state that I've got is Tennessee, and a track from Terraplane by the wonderful Steve Earle and the Dukes. And this track is called The Tennessee Kid. And there's a great story about pacts with the devil, and even mentions Robert Johnston and the Crossroads incident with him, or the Crossroads myth about him selling his soul to the devil in exchange for being able to play wonderful blues guitar. So that's The Tennessee Kid by Steve Earle. And then Texas, I'm only going to claim 1 point for Texas, and this is Texas Flood by the fantastic blues guitarist Stevie Ray Vaughan with Double Trouble, and the album's called Texas Flood. But I also wanted to show another album, this time on CD, by a great, I think they're called a swing, country swing group called Asleep at the Wheel. And this one has got, it's a 50-50 CD for me, because I like half of these country classics, because they're really good country music. And the other half are what I'd call the saccharine sweet, not so great country music. But we've got Miles and Miles of Texas is one of the tracks. You're not going to see that. And then below that, you've also got Texas, Me and You. And there's another track on here just above Miles and Miles of Texas, which is Route 66, which mentions it's Gallup, New Mexico is the mention of New Mexico, but I can't count that in this because it's not the album title and it's not the song title. So moving quickly on, we'll go to the northeast of the States, courtesy of Mr. Blue Eyes himself, the wonderful vocalist Frank Sinatra, who recorded My Way in one take. But the track here is Moonlight in Vermont, although below it there is Autumn in New York. But we've already used up New York with Nirvana. Then back to XL and Main Street and the wonderful Rolling Stones. This is a half-speed remaster, but you don't see the track listing, so we'll go to the CD. And the track is Sweet Virginia. So we're down to Virginia. And then Washington State. I'm using a song from Hamilton the musical, and there's a track here of Washington on Your Side. Of course, they're referring here to George Washington, which the state is named after. And last but not least, I have Neil Young and his eponymous first solo album, and we have a track called The Emperor of Wyoming. So that's my entry. So I think my grand total is 19 4/5, but which falls a little way from Richard's impressive 22 states. I'm not a huge Bruce Springsteen fan. Did he say that? So I don't have the Nebraska. We do have Born to Run and Born in the USA in the collection, but they're the only two. So there you have my entry to Richard McCook's States Challenge. So I'll be back again soon, and take care, and let's see what Richard comes up with next. Bye.